Got to Paul here from the locker room. We're trying to reach 1,500 subscribers for the end of January. Let's get into it. The Ottawa Senators are starting to turn this franchise around. The Ottawa Senators in their last 10 games are 7-2-1. They are doing a very good job. They are currently on a 4-game winning streak after beating the Detroit Red Wings 6-3. And you have seen some production from very much needed players. The Brinket has scored 3 goals out of the last 4 games, and he has 9 points in the last 4. So he's been doing his thing. He's kind of been turning up his level of play, which is what the Ottawa Senators need if they want to get back into this race. Currently, they sit 7th in the Atlantic Division, but they are only 4 points behind the Florida Panthers to be in 4th place in the division. And they have 2 games in hand on the Panthers, so there is still a chance for them to make playoffs. The bottom of the Atlantic Division is still relatively pretty competitive. 4th on down are only separated by 4 points. So this is going to be a very interesting race to see who finishes 4th. Going into this season, I was very, very high on the Ottawa Senators. I liked a lot of the additions they brought in. I think like DeBrincat was a huge get. I think he's starting to find a round into form and find his game, because once he can find that goal-scoring touch, Ottawa's just going to be even more lethal. Claude Giroux has played pretty well. Brady Tkachuk has done his thing all year. I mean, you have gotten what you wanted. And a big thing for me when it comes to the Ottawa Senators is seeing how far Tim Stützle will go in his development to take them to the next level. I know he's currently injured for about a week, but before he got injured in 28 games played, he had 10 goals, 17 assists for 27 points. So it did look like he took that next step and was going to start to blossom into that star Senators fans want him to be. So once he gets healthy, the Senators are going to become even more lethal. I know this isn't the start of the season that the Senator fans want, but they have to be very proud that their team has fought and clawed back into playoff relevancy, because at some point it was looking like they were going to be fighting for the #1 pick in the next draft. Hey, if you became the #1 pick in the next draft, Bedard's not necessarily a bad consolation prize. A player that really has stepped up his game in this 4-game stretch has definitely been Cam Talbot. Versus Nashville, he had 27 saves on 29 shots against. He had a shutout against Anaheim on 32 shots. And against Montreal, on 25 shots against, he had 23 saves. So he has been doing phenomenal. And against Detroit in his 4th straight win, he made 29 saves on 32 shots against. Talbot has rose to the occasion and has really brought some steadying goaltending to the Ottawa Senators. And this is what they were looking for when they brought him in. They thought he's a very good goalie, very steadying presence, and you can't complain with the numbers thus far he's given you this season. So in 17 games played, he has 8 wins, 7 losses, 1 shootout loss for a .916 save percentage and a 2.50 goals against average. He has done a remarkable job of bringing a steadying hand to the Ottawa Senators in net. Can the Ottawa Senators keep this momentum building and make the playoffs? Detroit has kind of fallen back a bit. They're currently on a 3-game losing streak. That was my team that I thought could make 4th. Buffalo, they've started turning around again. They're 6-2-2 in their last 10. It seems like it is very hard to tell. My only caveat when it comes to the Senators, and why I'm a little bit leery of saying that they will make it, I'm not as sure on their backup goaltending situation. Talbot is older, and while Talbot can have a lot of hot streaks, you can have some cold ones mixed in there as well. You also have a very young D-core with Branston 23, Sanderson being 20 years old as well, not negating their talent as players, but there's going to probably be some mistakes that happen throughout the year because they're developing at the NHL level. And their 3rd and 4th line scoring isn't where I'd want it to be. Their 1st and 2nd lines are extremely good, but you don't have a single player in their bottom 6 that have double digits for points on the season. And when it comes to the NHL, and especially to this modern day, you need to have depth scoring. I don't think Ottawa will be able to make the playoffs because there's been certain teams that played far better than I expected. And maybe I just overestimated some of the additions they had. Having a guy out like Josh Norris does hurt, him being month to month. Tim Stützle being out for a week, that definitely hurts. If they were fully healthy, they'd have a better shot. But as of right now, I don't really foresee them making the playoffs. But at the same token, I wouldn't be overly surprised if they fought their way into a wild card position. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think the Ottawa Senators will make the playoffs? Or if you don't, let me know for the reasoning why. I'm Captain Paul from the locker room. We're trying to reach 1,500 subscribers for the end of January. And I will see you in the next video.
Tries to catch and pass Mr. Hockey. A little melancholy with that one.